What's happening, my sci-fi action film aficionados? Today, we're going to take a look at the Great Wall. Spoilers ahead. A few miles north of the Great Wall, William Guerin, Pero Tovar, and some others ride on a horseback trying to escape some bandits. Arrows are flying, people are dying, and they cut some horses loose and watch the idiots go after them. And then they hide out for a bit as night falls on the desert. Pero says that they have a mission and need to see it through. The mission? To get and understand gunpowder. While William and Pero talk on the side, the other two are killed by a monster. William turns and finds them both gone, without a trace. Then they hear and realize that it was a beast, not a man. So it launches at them, and they're ready to attack, which they kill, and William says that they should take the hand with them to find out what the hell they just killed.
I'll take the hand with us.
So in the morning, they're chased again by the bandits. Eventually, they end up at the Great Wall and are met by an impressive army, and wall, obviously. And with few options, William and Pero get off their horses, choosing to surrender to the Chinese, rather than the bandits behind them. So in the war room, the commanders inspect the beast's arm. Commander Lin confronts him, asking where the hand was found. He tells her that it wasn't found, it was taken. She relays the information to the others, seeing as she knows both Chinese and English, and they're not surprised by the beast, but more by the timing. It's earlier than they expected. She asks William how they killed it, and he tells her that it was he who killed it, but nobody believes that. However, a man confirms their story based on the evidence, the clean-cut hand and the green blood on the sword, but Lin still thinks killing him is appropriate. And Lin asks why the two of them are there, and he begins to explain that they're there to trade. Well, Lin wants him dead, to which some agree, but one man says he's against the decision. Before an actual decision can be made, a soldier runs in and announces that they're under attack. The general tells them to lock up the intruders and prepare for battle. Now on the way to the dungeon, they learn that the beasts are called Tao Tai, which arrive from a meteorite and attack once every 60 years.
You killed the Tao Tai scout.
And once they get to the dungeon, this dude can't find the key, so he's told to just take them to the wall instead. Before we go on, like the video. Smash the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to join our expendable squad. Now on the wall they see the soldiers, the weapons, and both are in abundance. Everyone moves to their positions, preparing for the fight ahead. They wait patiently, yet nervously, for the beast to appear. And then they hear it. They start preparing the fireballs and fire away. Archers start firing. There's so many beasts and they're really ugly. And eventually, they approach the wall and the blue soldiers are up. They jump and stab before coming back up if they're lucky. Will and Pero witness what's happening. The apparent queen of the beasts makes herself known, so they target her. Shooting a ton of fireballs her way doesn't work as they shield themselves off in a dome. Now the queen commands them, so they now start scaling the walls. The general announces it's time for close combat. Things are about to get ugly. Purple soldiers prepare to fight. Will and Pero realize that they're in trouble if they don't get cut loose. Now a soldier, Pang, stares at him, and Will tells him to fight. As he leaves, charging at the beast, they get the stranger to cut him free. Pang charges and stabs the beast, and then he gets hit afterwards. But now free, Will and Pero jump into action to help him. The Tao Tai takes the spear out of its side and throws it towards Will, who grabs it and stabs him in his mouth. This thing's relentless. Even after Pero does some damage, the thing launches itself at the soldier, and thankfully, he's skillfully pulled out of the way. It comes back again, and Will kicks Pero out the way and stabs the thing in the mouth again. Dead, right? Nope. He pushes him back, spear in the mouth, Pero passes another spear, and that doesn't kill him. So they push them in deeper and finish the job. Pero grabs some red fabric and Will grabs a bow and arrow. They start killing more beasts like it's bullfighting, luring it with some red fabric and some verbal taunts, before revealing an archer. Smooth. The stranger who freed them runs away from the beast, so Pero gets him out the way. And Will slides under him and shoots the beast in the eyeballs. The queen calls them to retreat. Pero asks if they can be hung now, considering he could use the rest. That's the energy we've all been feeling. Lin and the generals approach him, and the two drop their weapons. They're told that they've earned the general's praise and are told to go and rest in the barracks. So now Will and Pero are woken up by the stranger. The man introduces himself as Ballard. He asks what they're doing here.
We came looking for black powder.
And after they explain what they're looking for, he then tells them that he came to China for the same reasons 25 years ago. He continues to tell them that finding it and leaving with it alive are two separate things. So they clean up and boy, do they look good after a shower and a shave. They're greeted with applause and Lin welcomes him on behalf of the general. Another general asks why Will uses such a primitive bow in comparison to his level. Well, Will argues that his weapon is second to none.
Tell him there's no better weapon here.
And the general asks him to demonstrate. Well, Will questions that decision but obliges after they tell him to be afraid because there are too many people. He tells Pero to get him a cup. The two stand back to back and Will eventually tells him to throw it to very specific measurements. He fires the first arrow, hitting it towards the pillar, and a second and a third holding it in place on the pillar. Oh, they're all impressed, and they're cheering him on. Back on the wall, Lin shows him the bungee device they used during the battle, and is asked if he wants to try. He doesn't seem all too keen due to the heights, but he takes her up on the offer, after she calls him out. Well, he's far too easy to coax into doing something. But he walks up, she straps him in, and he tells him that in this army, they don't fight for food. They fight for something bigger than themselves. She tells him that they work with trust to guide him. And then he looks at her and refuses to jump because he doesn't trust anybody.
I'm alive today because I trust no one.
Now Ballard shows them the black powder. And he tells them that there are many weapons and things that they haven't seen at the Great Wall, and a lot of things that they should hope to never see. And finally, he says that the right time to leave is when the battle begins. So now at the war meeting, Will is asked where he got the stone in his bag, and he says that he found it. The strategist Wang says that the stone might be useful to him. Will asks where the Tao Tai came from, and is told of a legend. More than 20 centuries before him, there was an emperor whose greed brought suffering to China and its people. A meteor fell to Earth and created the mountain where the beast came from, turning it green. The Tao Tai come every 60 years to remind them of what happens when greed is left unchecked. He warns them that if they make it past the wall, they'll go to the capital, and then there's no stopping them. The queen will have enough food to create thousands upon thousands more, and no army will be big enough to face them. So that night they find dead soldiers on the wall and wonder why the bodies were left behind. A lone beast is on the wall, hunting, so they walk forward hoping to kill it. As it approaches, Lin and the general prepare to fight, but one sneaks up behind them as the one before them advances. So they nail the one behind them, and the general pushes Lin out of the way, killing the other one, while also being seriously injured. So the general's taken back on a gurney and gives Lin the power to command the Nameless Order, a command he gives with his dying breath. They place him in a coffin and give him a send-off. Soldiers line the wall, and lanterns are released. Now at the war meeting, they speak of a magnet, which is the rock Will and Pero had when they arrived. And Wang believes it's why Will was able to kill the beast so easily. Lin asks how they can prove it, and Will suggests capturing one and testing it to see what effect it has.
I've seen it done in Spain.
So the next day, with fog over the mountains, they lace their spears with a sleep agent and get massive horns out, hoping to hear anything that might be coming to the wall. Will sneaks away after one of the soldiers is sent off. Ballard and Pero are ready to leave. Beasts begin attacking. Lin tells the death squad to start killing, and then commands the wall to release their weapons. Blades exit the walls and start slicing the beasts. It's pretty epic. Will's hesitant to leave. Ballard says they need to leave, but Pero knows they can't leave without Will because of his skills as an archer.
We need his bow!
Now they manage to nail some of the beasts with their spears, but another Tao Tai takes them out. One chance remains to get the beast. Will walks back and tells him to stop pulling, and instead wait for the sleeping potion to work. So they shoot some fireballs at it in hopes of separating it from the others. Will grabs the arrows and gets down to the battlefield. Lin tells him to take the arrows that produce sound with the wind, which helps to hear them coming. He jumps off and rides the chain down as the arrows fly by him. And he secures the sleeping Tao Tai, and they pull it in. He's attacked, but manages to kill it. But the second one doesn't see it in time. Thankfully, Pero's there to help him.
I'm only saving you so I can kill you myself.
So they manage to kill it and then realize the fire isn't holding them back. So Will fires arrows into the air, and Lin prepares black powder weapons. The arrows explode, They're blown back and the walls open. Soldiers collect them and take them inside. So now Will wakes up as they try to heal him. Lynn tells him that Perro's okay. And she asks why he went over the wall. And he tells her that it was because of trust. He looks at his fingers and sees the black powder. And she tells him that she wishes he never saw it because it's an awful weapon that they hope to never use. She worries the greed of man will use the powder to cause devastation. But before she leaves, she tells him to forget what he's seen. Yeah, fat chance. So now they all surround the beast with spears. Wang puts the rock close to it and watches the unruly beast become docile. They're all shocked, but Wang is more shocked when someone tells him to send it to the capital. He argues that they should study it there, but he's told that it's an imperial order. And with that, the captured Tao Tai is taken away. So Tao Tai movement causes everyone to prepare for battle. Perro and Ballard prepare to leave, and Ballard questions how he knows Will won't betray him, and he says he doesn't. They return to Ballard's room where he grabs his stash of black powder, and Will walks into the room later to find them both gone and the visible hole in a wall alerting him that they plan to escape. So meanwhile, the soldiers descend the wall and go into a cave that stretches endlessly. The Tao Tai breach the wall, and Lin calls for her generals. And they discuss the obvious truth that the Tao Tai now have access to the capital and are likely on their way. So desperate to reach the capital in time, they decide to use their new war balloons, which haven't been thoroughly tested. Ballard and Perro get to the doors and place dynamite on them. The thing doesn't explode, so Perro goes to check on it.
Is it safe? Of course it is.
But when he does, it explodes, pushing them both back. Will hears the explosion and runs towards it. The soldier who Will saved follows. Will finds them in the weapons room, stealing in preparation to escape. They try to convince him to leave with them, but he believes that staying and fighting the Tao Tai is more important. Perro says they're doomed, and that there's no point. Well, he rejects him, saying that his plans are to stay and fight. And they drop stuff on him, knocking him out.
Think he's dead?
It'd take a lot more than that.
So at the capital, the captured Tao Tai is brought to the Emperor. His advisors told him that the magnet was an important discovery. It's too late, though. Not that they know that. Will is brought to the generals and Lin in chains. He tries to explain himself, but she doesn't want to hear it. She says that if she wasn't a general, she'd kill him herself. But then Pang vouches for him, saying that he's telling the truth. So she commands them to lock him up and go after the two that escaped. Now out on the run, Ballard betrays Perro. Shocking, I know. At the wall, the balloons take to the skies. Will watches from his cell, as some fail entirely. Conveniently, Lin's works. And Will's released and informed that the plan has failed. The Tao Tai are approaching the capital, and Lin said that he must be released because, well, the world's about to end. So he asks where she is. And he looks to the skies, to the balloons which didn't fall. He asks if there's still a chance, but is told that only by killing the queen is there any chance of survival.
Kill the queen, or we all die.
So Will goes on a balloon and goes after her. And his mate even goes with him. Ballard meets up with the bandits, so he's scared. They find his black powder and one lands in the fire, causing an explosion. And Perro follows that explosion. They arrive at the capital and are met with a ton of Tao Tai. Lin attacks the beasts but is quickly surrounded. Thankfully, Will warns her of one above her. She does some tricks before Will grabs her spear and holds onto it as they continue floating through the city. Wang gives Lin a grenade, which is thrown into an approaching beast, causing it to explode. She asks why he's there, considering she set him free. But they don't have time to talk because they found the queen. And that's just a nasty sight.
There's the queen!
So they crash land and are greeted by some hostile guards. Really? Hostile at humans. Anyways, they go to the Emperor, who tells them that they're too late. But they say if they kill the queen, this can end. The plan is to send their captured beast to its queen with the hopes of exploding it when he gets close, therefore killing the queen. They take it down underground canals to get close. They're attacked, but they save their men, albeit with some injuries. Will takes a look at his friend who's injured, but he says he'll live, and they continue down the passage alone with the intention of coming back for him. Then the Tao Tai break through. He makes the ultimate sacrifice, blows himself up, ensuring that they can succeed. Heartbreaking stuff. They prepare their captured beast and open the doors before taking the magnet and slowly backing away. It wakes up and wants to attack him at first, but the magnet repels him. So he leaves. He eats and leaves. They watch as he's led into the inner circle with the Queen. Will and Lin go to the top of the tower to get a clear shot. They take it, but deflected. They go higher, but now the Queen makes them attack the tower. Wang throws the magnet in the most unrealistic way, but Lin catches it. Well, he's dead now too. Will takes another shot, deflected. The Queen angrier than before. They have one shot left.
We have one black powder weapon left.
Together, jumping from the building, Will throws the magnet. Lin takes the shot, and it just gets through. The Queen eats it, trying to stop impending doom, but is unsuccessful. She blows up. They swing back and nearly fall off the roof. Lin catches Will and pulls him back up. And they watch the Tao Tai fall like zombies, unresponsive without a Queen. So back at the wall, Will finds Pero chained up. They joke around a bit before Will reveals that he was given a choice between black powder or taking his friend home. He then releases Pero, who's shocked that he chose him. And on their way out, Lin comes to say goodbye. Not gonna lie, I was gonna expect some romance, but the two former bandits are escorted out, and Will looks back at the wall as Lin watches him leave. Pero asks if he wants to return, and Will says of course he does, but he doesn't trust Pero to get home in one piece. Lin watches on as Will leaves. Maybe, one day, they'll meet again. The Great Wall was released in 2016 by Universal Pictures. It starred Matt Damon, Jing Tian, and Pedro Pascal. Given a choice to go home or stay and fight a seemingly unwinnable fight, what would you choose? Let us know with the hashtag CinemaRecap in the comments.